Okay, you guys are gonna make a sculpture using some wire, some foam, and a little bit of plaster gauze. And so we'll talk about that in a moment. But first things you wanna do is make your sculpture. So I want you to kind of make a shape by bending your wire. And I know it's gonna be kind of hard. You're just gonna do the best you can. And you can just play around. It can be any sort of funky shape. All right, you can kind of bend it and then bend it back to where it kind of becomes something interesting. And then I need you to think about balance. All sculpture artists need to think about balance, because if you were to put yours kind of in the side of your foam like this, it's gonna fall over. So what you need to do is kind of plan. So are you gonna bend it to kind of make it balance better like that? That's one solution. Another solution might be to poke it into a different part of your foam. Maybe it's more in the middle or more here. And that'll help with the balance issue, okay? So once you kind of have your sculpture designed, and you can also, by the way, actually put both ends of your wire in like that and create your sculpture that way too. So I'm gonna make just sort of a funky shape here and play around with it. It's starting to look like a heart, but I don't wanna make a heart. I feel like that's too obvious. Let's do something different. Something like that. I don't know what it is yet. I'll figure it out later. I'm gonna stick it in like that. And now here we're gonna take our plaster gauze. And you might only need 1 or 2 pieces of this. What this is, it's a fabric, a cloth, and it has plaster on it, dry plaster. Now plaster, when it gets wet, it goes through a chemical change. It changes permanently and it'll start to harden. It'll get really soft and then it will harden permanently. But what you need to know is that if you were to get all of the plaster wet and then not use it, it'll be ruined. It will not work next time. So it's good for our sculpture, but bad if we don't use it. So what you're gonna do is take your plaster, dip it in the water, and you'll see it gets really soft. And you can use your fingers to kind of start to smooth out the plaster. What I'll do is kind of just wrap it around my sculpture, almost like you're putting on a cast. And I'm using my fingers to smooth out the little holes that are in the plaster. And I'm just gonna wrap it around like that. So now I've kind of created this funky shape that next time we can paint. And I have a piece of wire sticking out the bottom here. I can leave it there like that, or I can maybe wrap one more piece of plaster around it. I don't think anyone will need more than, I think, 3 pieces of plaster. I really think that with this size sculpture, you'll only need 2, maybe 3 pieces, depending on what you end up doing. So here I'm gonna wrap it around. And I'm noticing now as I'm wrapping this on that my sculpture's starting to lose its balance because the plaster adds some weight to it. So I might have to think, okay, this is falling over. What do I need to do? Maybe I need to bend it a different direction a little bit more. Maybe I need to poke the hole into a different part of my sponge or my foam. There we go. Now the stand. And now that I'm done, I can kind of look at this and it looks kind of like a bunny rabbit or something else to me. So I'm gonna just kind of take a look at that and try to start to brainstorm some ideas. Now this needs to harden. It'll harden pretty quickly, but we're not gonna paint them until next time. So what you'll do is put it in the drying area that I'll show you, and then you can free draw and we'll work on them next time.